Hi everybody, so my name's Sarah and I'm an energy healer and light language channel, but in this video I want to talk about being a good girl. Are you a good girl? Have you been brought up to believe that being a good girl is the main thing that a female needs to do? Ever since we're young, girls are taught to be quiet, kind, respectful, and because we kind of are more mature than boys, we're kind of given this responsibility to fit in, to just get on with it and be a good girl. Try our best to suppress our difficult emotions, just be quiet, be kind, put other people in front of our own needs. And that is a projection that's put on us right from when we are little, really young girls. We are taught that we need to put other people's needs in front of our own. We're taught to be considerate, kind, respectful, those kind of things, and we expect that in return people will treat us like that. But as we get older, we realise that actually being seen as a good girl can be perceived as being weak, and people will take advantage of your good girl tendencies and they will push your boundaries. They will get what they want, and because we're being polite and respectful, we often will let them do it. We won't put our needs first. We'll be the good girl and let them get away with it. Stanford University did a experiment to see what qualities people found desirable in men and women. And the qualities in women were to be warm. So these are the most desirable adjectives to describe a woman. And it's warm, cheerful, soft-spoken and loyal. That's what a good girl is. And for men, the desirable adjectives were dominant, decisive, assertive and independent. There's a clear difference between those two. Basically, the male ones describe a strong, powerful man that gets his needs met. The female one describes a soft, malleable female that puts other people's needs first. I have spent a lot of my life trying to be a good girl. It hasn't worked a lot of the time because I've had these conflicting emotions going on. So I've always felt this wild, rebellious nature. And I did rebel quite a lot when I was a young girl, teenager. I've always had different views and different opinions to other people, mainly because of my spiritual experiences and beliefs. But I've also had this really strong, I wouldn't say desire, but strong programming to be a good girl. I want people to think I'm good. I want people to think I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm respectful, I'm nurturing, and that's okay if you're coming from a place where it's imbalance in yourself. But if you're doing that while you're exhausted, while you're tired, while you should be putting your needs first, if you put all that stuff to one side and you focus on being the good girl, how others will perceive you, how others are going to react to you, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to lose the sense of your own power and your own strength in yourself, and you're just going to get lost. I know it's difficult. I know, like, especially when you have kids and you're like at the school gates, you want to be the good mum. You want to be perceived as a good, nice mum, you know, that is dressed appropriately for the school run, that takes part in reading programs, helping out the kids. You might have a million other things you need to be doing, but you're like, no, I need to be perceived by the school, by other mums, to be this good mum, this good girl. I'm doing everything right. Have the perfect house, have the perfect car, have the perfect children. And in my personal experience, I didn't have any of that. I had the crazy children. I had the not so clean car. I had, you know, it wasn't the poster. I wasn't the perfect, you know, PTA mum. I could feel the pressure. I could feel the pulling apart that I wasn't just myself, because I was being pulled to do these things, but I really didn't know. It's a very unconscious pull and need to be a good girl. And it's really difficult to break free from that, because it's surrounding us in our society so strongly. So some of the ways that you can start to put yourself first, and instead of being a good girl, you can be a strong girl. So one of the things to do would be to just ask for what you want. Another study looked at people that were put in a new employment, a new job. Something like 57% of the men negotiated with their starting wage, and 7% of women negotiated for their starting wage. That's a massive difference. So the men knew their value, knew what they were worth, and they fought to get it. Whereas the females, like 7%, that's low. They didn't, I'm sure most of them knew they were probably worth more, knew that they should have been getting more, but they wanted to be seen as a good girl, so they didn't ask. So one of the ways is to just ask for what you want. It sounds so simple, but we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to be perceived as pushy or demanding, and so we don't get what we deserve. I'm not saying ask for crazy things, just what you know your worth and what you need. We just got to ask for our needs to be met. That's the bare minimum we should be doing. So another way that we can become strong women instead of just good girls is to say no. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? It's like, oh, could you pick up my kids from school today? Yeah, of course, that's no problems. Oh, could you give them tea as well? Yes, of course, yeah. I've only got to do my own kids' tea and do a load of cleaning and do the washing, but it's fine, I'll do it. Actually, could you drop them home as well afterwards? Yeah, of course, yeah. We want to be perceived as being the perfect mum. We can do it all. We can just take on other children, you know, and give them tea at a drop of a hat. We're super women. We can do it all. Doesn't matter we're going to be super stressed and busy and overwhelmed with the amount of stuff we're going to do. All these little people can ask for help, and it's good to ask for help. There's absolutely nothing wrong with people asking, and us asking for, like I said before, the first one, we need to ask for what we need, but it's equally important to say no when we can't do it. If we are busy, if we are stressed, if we are overwhelmed, we're not really helping. We're definitely not helping ourselves, and we're not teaching other people that we have boundaries, and then they will push, and then we lose ourselves even more. Like I said, it's fine. We need to ask for help, but we need to be able to say no when we just know we can't do it. We need to put ourselves first. Other people will have to deal with their own stuff. We have to put ourselves first. And then once we're in a state and we can help, we can help. But it's absolutely fine to say no to people. And it's really important to do, actually, because we need to have these boundaries. But we need to teach people what our boundaries are, and we can only do that by saying no and letting them know when enough is enough. Another thing we can do is to speak up. This has been a difficult one for me. If people are rude, if people are disrespectful to us, we can either just ignore it, be polite, be quiet, soft-spoken. You know, there's desirable qualities in the female, and we just get hurt inside. Or we can speak up and say, actually, that's not okay. The way you're talking to me at the moment is not okay. Then we let people know. We teach them what is acceptable for us. People can't read our minds. People may not be being particularly rude, they just don't know. We have to share how we're feeling. We have to share when something is not acceptable to us. It's okay to do that. It's not being rude. People actually really thrive when they know where the boundaries are. You know, like with kids, they thrive when they know that a no means no, where the boundaries are. That makes people feel safe and secure. We have to do the same when we're adult. We have to speak up. We have to say no. And we have to ask and let people know what we're thinking. It sounds so basic. It's like, it's not rocket science. It's just we're trained, we're programmed not to do this as a female. We are trained to be quiet. We've got to change that for all our mental health, you know. It's really important. We've got to be brave. We've got to be bold. And we've got to speak up. The last thing I would suggest is to just respect your own values. We've all got different values. We've all got different beliefs. Some of our beliefs might be a bit way out there to other people, but that's fine. We have to just accept that we've got these beliefs, we've got these values, and no one else has to have the same ones, but they have to respect us. People may want to change what we do or how we do or how we think, but we know what's right for us and we know what's best for us, and we need to just be really firm and secure. It's like, okay, I may live in whatever situation and that's the way I choose, and that's completely fine for me. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You've got to just trust yourself, trust your values, trust your beliefs, and know that's right for you. It doesn't matter if it's not right for anyone else, and they may want to change, but if you communicate your feelings and communicate your boundaries, then people will not try to influence you and try to change you, because they know that you are 100% strong in your power, in your beliefs. That's all we need to do. Being strong and not outspoken, but speaking up, it doesn't mean we don't have to also be polite, you know, respectful, kind. We can be those things still and sharing our feelings, sharing our boundaries. It doesn't mean we become really loud and aggressive and forceful in the way we communicate. We can still have those other qualities and have the strength behind it to know that we can be good girls, but we can be good, strong girls. That's what I'm going to be trying to do. I hope this has been helpful. If you want to check out my website, it's www.lightlanguage.co.uk. I do healing using light language and energy. And I'd love to hear any comments you got about what I've said, and if you've had challenges like this in your life. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.